In this video, we are going to connect to a Vectra pump in Mobius. We will then run the calibration protocol, and then we will create a program. So the first thing you'll need to do is log into your Mobius account, either create a new account or log into an existing account. Then you'll either need to choose a tank or add a tank. If you're adding a tank, it will walk you through the process of finding existing devices. In this case, there's our Vectra S2. We can select it, click next, and now it's going to prompt us for a firmware update. If this was an existing tank, then what you would do is go to one of the either flow or lighting tabs and hit that plus button in the top right, which will then allow you to add new devices. That would bring you to the same spot where you first picked that Vectra, and then you would be prompted to update the firmware if there was firmware waiting to be updated. So this firmware update process could take as much as 10 minutes, particularly if it is near a major update with respect to equipment firmware or Mobius. As time goes on, these updates are going to get less frequent and smaller, but while we're continually adding new features and also upgrading the platform and improving its performance, you may be prompted occasionally to do a firmware update. Most likely the largest firmware update you're going to have to do is the first time you purchase and install a pump. Again, that's less likely as time goes on. So the firmware update will take about 10 minutes. If you can disable the ability of your phone, if it is a phone, from accepting incoming calls, this can be done using the airplane mode and then re-enabling Bluetooth. At some point, you'll be provided with a notification that you no longer need to be connected with the phone to the device and that you can do other things with your smart device while the update continues. During this time, you will see the lights on the Quiet Drive driver on the Vectra start to flash. The knob or the potentiometer is going to flash blue and red. This is all indicating that right now the firmware on the device is being overwritten and upgraded to the new device. So we're just going to skip ahead here to the completion. And when we get to the end of the update, you will be told that the update has completed successfully. And now there is a network being created. So what's happening, it is adding the Vectra to your tank, and you can then either password protect it with a PIN code or skip that step. You'll be provided with the option of a template. You can change all this later. We've been using the AB+, so we're going to go ahead and use that again. Click on that, and it will provide a basic program. In the case of the Vectra, this is going to be just a constant speed mode. Again, we can change that later. After this, we are going to run the calibration. If this is the first time you're installing the pump, it is going to prompt you to do this. You can skip it, but if you click on calibrate, then what it's going to do is initially turn off the pump and then walk you through the calibration process. The purpose of calibrating is so that you can create a neutral water level for things like feed mode. And also, if you turn the pump down to 0, it will actually continue to run at that level where you have neutral head pressure. Benefit to that is if you have a sump or some other set of plumbing, you won't overflow your sump or your protein skimmer or things of that nature. Or if you want the return in the tank to be turned all the way down to nothing, again, you won't get reverse siphoning or a change in a water level in the tank. So that's a nice feature of the Vectra, and that's the purpose of calibrating it. So you follow these steps. What it will do is tell you to watch from the 0. It will slowly ramp it up until you see flow. You lock that in, and then you can fine-tune, adjust it to that point. You can also set the max flow rate of your Vectra during this period. And again, that's to prevent too much flow in your tank if you do not want the pump to ramp up to 100%. So when you do that, that means if the dial or the knob is turned all the way to the right, it will go to your set 100%, not 100% functional capability of the pump. So again, nice feature there. Good thing to set up at the beginning, could save you problems down the road, and it's also something that differentiates the Vectra as a smart return pump. So with all that done, now it is going to finish the calibration process, and you will receive a notification that calibration is complete. With that done, you can see there's your Vectra. If you click on that edit button, now we can adjust the program. Adjusting the program is very simple. You just simply drag across. Right now in Mobius, that's limited to just adjusting the speed of the pump at different times. So you would create new sections on there. You can also create a feed mode section, but during those time periods, the pump will run at those levels which you specify. When that's all done, you can click on resume schedule to go back to your regular operational speed, or you could also click on templates if you wanted to reset or select a different template. So there from the circulation page, you can also see the power consumption of that Vectra as it is currently running. Okay, that's it. Now you've added a Vectra to Mobius, you've updated the firmware, and you have calibrated it and created a basic program. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this was helpful, and have a great time using your Vectra.